A lot of life lessons learned. Again, I never regret anything. I take everything as a lesson, whether it be good or bad. There's a lesson in everything to be taught. And it's just a simple way to think of it. You can turn any mess into a message. So you just got to finish it out.
All right, welcome back to the Rain Brings Growth podcast. I'm here with my man, Jaylon Perry, today. He's been a buddy of mine for over 10 years now.
It's just Jaylon.
I'm not even gonna call you Jaylon. Probably
it's just Perry. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, it's a great introduction. I like it.
All right. Well, we'll keep it in there then.
Good. I like it. Keep it in. Get some color in your podcast because I noticed, ain't been a color in here a lot lately. I'm breaking in the seat.
Hey, yours is coming out next Friday.
Okay. All right. The day after Thanksgiving. On Black Friday. That's kind of racist, actually.
It just happened to be. I was looking at it today. I was like planning out my whole calendar, and I was like, oh, that's going to be missed.
Yeah. It's a Black Friday special. Actually, I like it, though, because then I'll share it as a Black Friday special.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's been a minute. I was just going through my phone the other day, and I seen a picture of when we took our kids to go see Moana, like way back when.
It's been a journey since then.
Yeah, man.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Working different units and eventually getting away from our old stomping grounds and going into what we're doing now. I mean, you with this and me just working on myself. Thanks to you, too. You're a big part of my my self-healing journey. Giving me just like the foundation I needed to start even finding myself through weight loss, things like that. And I'm thankful for it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you trusting me, man. We got you to win that first little NutriShop contest.
I'm gonna start another one. I'm all in about the money, So
yeah,
when it happens again, I might need you again. So.
Hey, I'm always here, man. Yeah, I mean, because you're, like you said, you're working a lot for the money. What are you doing, like 6 days a week right now?
I work 7 days a week right now. Whew. Starting this week, I'm dropping down a day just to focus on myself, my family, just kind of stepping back, man. Life happens in weird ways, and I'm thankful for it, though. Don't regret anything, but yeah, stepping back to focus on myself and my family. As I focus on myself, I'm focusing on my family, my relationship. My kids are a big one, really focusing on my kids because, that's who I want to see win out of everything that I do, no matter what I do. My kids are in the back of my mind. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, let's just start back and just introduce, like, who is Jaylon?
All right, so Jaylon, let's see.
Where are you from?
It's a kid from Oklahoma, Lawton, Forest Hill. Grew up with just my mom in my life. Dad wasn't there so much, but when he was, it wasn't, it's just kind of like that one and done type. But I learned a lot from it, So even a little stint of what my dad was in my life, I went through a lot of stuff a lot of people go through at a young age, physical, mental, emotional abuse. But I changed it into something good. It's one thing, even though I seen him in that short amount of time, it showed me what I didn't want to be as a father, And now I'm able to use that for my own kids and just be present, available, mentally, physically, emotionally. So that way, everything in their childhood that they go through, they know that I'm there. So yeah, Oklahoma, started in Oklahoma, fatherless. I ain't going to give him the credit. I will give him credit, still my dad, but definitely showed me what it's like to be where I'm at today. Went through a whole bunch of stuff, even as family, just kind of like same thing, mental, physical, emotional abuse, all kinds of things. And just living through life as any other kid would. Played football, sports, played some baseball for my grandpa. He played in the minor leagues for Boston back in the day. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, he was a pitcher, lefty. And, just grew up with a tight-knit family. Just kind of always going to each family members. Sundays were big, Baptist, so go to church, go eat. And, back and forth, just kind of between Colorado and Oklahoma. That was my mom's doing, it's all right. Ended up in Colorado about teenage years. Started school there. Dropped out of sports, picked up work, started working at 14. Since then, never stopped working. Just hustle every day. And, along the way, met my beautiful wife. 18. At 18. Funny thing, too, my wife that's my first everything, my first love. I lost my virginity to her. And 12 years later, even as we struggle through what we're going through now, I still making a choice to love her and do everything that I have to because, you always got to be there for each other. Life has ups and downs. Relationships has ups and downs. But through this, I'm learning now, focus on myself and kind of put myself over. Kind of sounds selfish, but putting myself over a lot of things while still rekindling my love for Renee, getting a new perspective for my children, just appreciating them more because, like I said, your children are the future of you. And, I've just been living it, man, just embracing every opportunity that I get, not taking things for granted. And I mean, sounds cliche, but enjoying the little things, just the little things of life. And that's why I've stepped back from the 7-day work days and realizing that, money ain't everything. Money is not everything. So, it's my little stint of me.
Yeah, dang, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, that's what I said. Hey, it's my little stint. You got to,
Yeah.
if you want to unpack it all, that's going to be like, we're going to do a series on this.
Hey, I got plenty of time. So
We'll see how many views we get. If we get a lot of views, I'll come back.
Yeah. So, you started working at 14. What were you doing at 14?
Man, I was selling the newspaper. In Colorado, I used to sell the Gazette. I would go to door to door. And, I was selling the newspaper, man. The Gazette, the Denver Post, the New York Times, and what's another one? But pretty much I got commission off of what I sold. And it was actually a really good job. I did it after school. And I just did that till I was 16, till I was able to get a real job. And but even at 14, I was able to help my mom out. My mom was a single mom. I love that lady to death. And it brought in at 14, I was making like $200 a week. And for 14, I was like the top seller. So I can sell snow to an Eskimo, So it allowed me to help my mom out, my family out, my sisters. And it gave me time to get away and actually kind of find myself at a young age. Kind of get away from myself too, because even now I have that mentality. I didn't come from the best background as a kid, but watch my mom struggle and do the best she could, and it allowed me to find my hustle. I guess I'm all off topic.
Yeah. No, so 14 years old, you don't hear a lot of kids going door to door sales.
Yeah,
right. You hear working at an ice cream shop or something, but that's a hustle.
It was me, and I had this dude named Josh. He was like 16, and they come pick me up in this. It was like a stoner van every day after school. I'm just like, I'm not getting in this van. He's like, man, come on, and it's just like, you really gonna you look like a predator when you come pick me up in this van, and it'd just be a whole bunch of kids in the van. Everyone else is like 15. I'm like, dude, you're over here trafficking kids. But no, he was a good dude. He taught me a lot, and he kind of started my whole just my thing for the hustle about getting out there, entrepreneur. That's still one of my little goals in life. I want to be an entrepreneur. Still got time, but it's in the back of my head. I'm like, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there one of these days.
So you were doing that at 14, and when did you move to Idaho?
I got here. I was 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when my so 18.
So you met Renee in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, funny story. It was March 17th, 2011, and I went to. I was watching my little cousin, Elijah, just a little kid. And I was like, how am I going to entertain this kid? I'm working all the time. Like, how am I going to entertain this kid? And I asked him, hey, you want to go to a birthday party? This is my buddy's birthday party. My buddy's brother's birthday party. And he was like, sure. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I packed him up. I was driving my mom's little Cavalier. And I went to his house. And as soon as we got there, St. Patty's Day, so we went and got green and stuff like that. And I got in apartment complex. Funny thing about the apartment complex, though. In Colorado, it's like the only place I've ever seen black squirrels run around. I remember seeing the black squirrels. But anyway, we get into the apartment, and I seen Renee in the corner, and I was just like, "Yo, is that y'all's cousin?" And he was like, "No, dude, that's Johnny's girlfriend." And I was like, "Nah, that ain't his girlfriend." And he's like, "Yeah, it is." And I was like, "Okay." So later on, I had nudged him up, and I was like, "Hey, when y'all break up, let me know." He was just kind of like, "Yeah, fuck you, whatever." Da 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 da. I was like, "Okay." I was like, "But I'm respectful." I was like, "You know what? All right, whatever." So a couple of weeks later, I went back, and he was there on the couch with his buddy, like all sourpuss, whatever. And then I was like, "Hey, where's Renee at?" And he was just like, "Oh, we broke up." And I was like, "Yo, you're supposed to tell me when y'all broke up." And he was like, he just kind of blew me off. So I was like, "Man, let me make my attempts." So, I messaged her on Facebook, and I was just like, "Hey, you want to go out on a date?" I gave it time, though. It was like May 28th. And she was like, "Sure." So we went out and got tattoos and we went to Dairy Queen. That was like our first date, May 28th. Friends date. We were friends. But yeah, after that, it was a summer of just kind of hanging out and just a whole bunch of ups and downs. Just even as I'm respectful, she started having another relationship with some dude. Okay, whatever. I'll wait. I'm patient. I'm a patient waiter. So then eventually we got together, broke up, got back together. And then the rest is history. A year later, we're getting married, having a kid. And when we had our kid, that's when her mom reached out, And I was like, we want to try something different. Could we move to Idaho? And she's like, of course. And so they welcomed us with open arms. And I've been here ever since 2012, December 2012. And it's been nothing but good to me. A lot of life lessons learned. Again, I never regret anything. I take everything as a lesson, whether it be good or bad. There's a lesson in everything to be taught. And it's just a simple way to think of it. You can turn any mess into a message. So you just got to finish it out. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just, making all the messes into a message. And yeah. And so, yeah, I've been here since. Started corrections 2 years later. So I just hit my 10-year mark with them. That's fun. Obviously, all the things we got to go through, from.
What made you want to start out there?
It was actually, so this is a funny story. I was working at a call center, and
Which one?
Xerox.
WDS?
Yeah, WDS. I feel like everybody starts there.
Yeah. So, that's where I gained all my weight.
I did too. I gained a lot of weight from there.
That little cafeteria in the back, dude.
That and sitting at our desk and just eating all day. Because you just be on the phone, just like bored eating.
Yeah.
My son does that now, playing video games. But that's how it started. And, just one day I seen all these people like leaving. I'm like, where are you guys going? And they were like, oh, we're going to iDoc. I'm like, oh, okay, let me try it out. And I tried it. And I used to be big in prison shows, like Locked Up, everything else like that. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is Locked Up. This is California prison. We're about to go in. We're doing this. Yeah, this is what it is. So when I applied, they actually they denied me because I said, what have you done to prepare yourself for prison? I was like, I've been watching Locked Up. I'm ready to go. Like,
I watched Prison Break.
Yeah, cell extraction training. I got this. Like, you let me know. And they sent me. I still got the email from them. They're like, yeah, we've decided to move forth with different applications.
Is that John Mayton?
Yeah. And I was like, God dang it. But I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't know where I messed up at, because they gave me their answer back to it was work history or something like that. I'm like, man, I've only ever had 2 jobs. Like, how can you say work history? And so I was just like, let me contact HR. Let me get into it. So eventually,
You got to pull a Karen, dude.
yeah, I did. And I was like, let me talk to the manager, please. And they resubmitted my application, and then I started like 6 months later. The rest is history. Still there 10 years later. I'm committed. I got commitment issues. I stay into it thick and thin. Thick and thin. But
That's funny. Yeah, I got into prison because my brother came to live with me, and I signed him up for the Idaho Department of Labor, and I didn't know his email, so I just put his email, and I was like, he came to live with me in like around Christmas time. Well, January rolls around, and the job that I'm working at, they pretty much make this rule that's pretty much just specifically towards me, but it goes company wide, so it doesn't look weird. And it's like, you can't work directly under your family members. And my dad was my boss, and I was the only person it affected out of all of, like, it's through 3 states, Colorado and Utah and Idaho. And I was the only person it affected. They're like, we'll give you time to find a job. And so I was like, all right, well. So I was looking through my email one day, and then it was like for my brother, but it said like, Idaho Department of Corrections is hiring. And I was like, my brother ain't working here. I'm gonna go work. I'll put a name in the hat though. And then they ended up hiring me a month later. But back then they didn't have the shadowing, so I was just chilling in my house for like a month in between jobs. But now it's nice because you can just go shadow.
well, yeah, it's the same thing too. Like the shadow that they do, the extended shadow. Because like when I started, I went straight to academy. It wasn't
Neo week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then shadow was after for 2 weeks, if that.
Yeah. I did like 1 week and then academy.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me. And even now the academy is like not as long as it used to be, and I mean, which is fine, but it needs to be some standard. You've seen the people that come out there. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Idaho Department of Corrections is a great job. Can't say nothing bad about it for me.
Yeah.
Every job is what you take from it, and for me, it's been well. I mean, I've built foundation for my family, built a house, able to pay my mortgage payment, able to pay my car payments. I'm able to pay the bills. Yeah. So for me, I can't say anything bad about it because it's done nothing but take care. My son was born under the insurance. I can't say nothing bad about it.
Yeah. I personally can't say anything bad about the job either. I think it's taught me actually a lot of stuff. I just had to take a lot of things later in life. Like, I mean, when I was at ISCC for like the first few years, I was a piece of shit.
No, I know.
Remember they used to call me Sandbag City because so probably my first at least 2-3 years, I was a shitbag for sure. And then I remember that Ross pulled me in. I wasn't even on his shift. He pulled me in one day to the break room, and he was just like talking to me more like a brother rather than like a boss, because he wasn't even my supervisor. He's like, hey, man, like, I see potential in you. The word on the street is that, you kind of work harder to get out of work than it is just to do the work. He's like, so it was like beginning of the year, and I was just appreciative because that was like the first time somebody told me something that I was doing wrong before the end of the year eval, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, thank you, first off, But it was just cool because I got like that little come to Jesus meeting, and like I could see that somebody actually cared more than just because they had to write it on an eval or something, right? That was the only ever time. And then La Rochelle was my supervisor, and he pretty much helped me too. He's like, all but the same words, like, get your shit together. Yeah. Like, I see potential in you too, but get your shit together, bud. And I don't know if he said those words, but
essentially that's what it came out to you as.
But I like the cold hard truth. I don't like the pussyfooting around and like people beating around the bush, like, oh yeah, and then just wait till the end of the year.
Yeah.
Stupid. So I had a lot of respect for those too, for telling me like beginning of the year, and like, and so it's cool. But then from that moment on, I think that's kind of like when I started being better and taking initiative and trying to take the posts that I didn't want to take. And that's when I started like just volunteering to go work in G Block when they had openings, because I was just relief, but I was like, just put me in there. Like, because not a lot of relief staff want to go work G block. So I was like, just put me in there every day. I'll do it. You know, just trying to take some initiative, and then I built up a name for myself. And then I was able to bid into that exempt post the next year, and I worked that whole year. And
that's when we worked together a little bit, right? Was it night? On the nights? That's what we did. It was me, you.
I think it was a previous
DZ?
year. Yeah, I think it was a previous year that we worked together on nights, and then I kind of went to days. I was on relief, but yeah, we were working together. That's probably when I was still a little bit of a shitbag. But
Sounds good. Well, it's funny that you mentioned Ross though. That's my mentor. He doesn't even know it. I learned so much from him, and it's funny that like when I first met him, and he was still a lieutenant, and he told me, this is what he's like. He was like, what you want to do is you go to the farm and you just take in all these trainings that they do for you, because they're going to give you trainings every opportunity, and you just do them. Just do them. Just get this knowledge from leadership, all this other stuff. And I'm like, cool. I'm not going nowhere. I'm like, I'm staying over here. Like, what are you talking about? And this is me still young, gung-ho, you know. Something happens. Hey, here I come. Perry's coming. I got you. Suit me up. I'm going. And it's funny now, because 10 years later, I'm at the farm, and I see what he's talking about. I see all this this training that they try to give you. Perry, you going to training today? We got leadership coming up. You got this? And I'm like, everything that he told me is true. You get to that place, and they're very into you. They want you to succeed. They want you to take these leadership courses. They want you to be a part of the team. Like, and it's just weird having this environment coming from ISCC where it's almost like you're forgotten, you know? But you're not, because you have that team camaraderie, especially when you like work G block somewhere where you have just your team. But from a leadership standpoint, you feel more seen. And that's one reason why I'm glad Ross is back over there, because I know from his leadership standpoint and, you know, everything that when I was going through stuff, like when certain things happen, it was immediately like, Perry, you good? Like before anything, you know? And that's why I'm very appreciative of him. So when you say that, you know, he kind of gave you that, hey, this is what it is, what it is. And like, he's definitely helped me out a lot. And he's just like he's my guardian angel of prison. Hey, he's my guide. He is. And I'm thankful for him. And in so many ways, just because he tells it as it is, you know, and he wants everyone to do good. He wants everyone to succeed. He's a person. Like, even now I hear about him just being over there. Dude's like skateboarding down the hallway, just throwing off people's OODA loops, you know? Like, why are we seeing this? Like, you're the warden. Why are we seeing this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that's what it needs, you know? That's what we need. Everyone's people out there, you know? And a lot of people later on figured that out, that they'll be out here chilling with us. But if we, as a community, everything else, we learn to heal each other, become better, we can all live in peace and harmony.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah, dude, I had a moment this year when I was going through the CERT Academy, and he was previous commander of the CERT, right? So there's one day where they come and talk to you just kind of during your lunch. And I don't know if he knew I was there or not, but he just walked in and then looked at everybody and then like looked back at me. He's like, I'm glad to see you here. It was like one of those proud dad moments, you know. I was like I felt like a good accomplishment right there, you know. I was like, all right, cool, I made it.
It always feels good when he speaks to you. Yeah.
Right. It was like, oh shit, man.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Dude's I don't know. He just gives you, like you said, that proud dad moment. Like, he talks to you, just like, man, this is like, because I wanted to do CERT too, because he was doing CERT, you know?
Yeah.
But then I was like, I ain't doing CERT no more. I'm like, this is too hard. You hear about all their horror stories. Yeah, we had to run for da-da-da-da-da. We're at the military base doing it. I'm like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, remember when we got off graveyard shift and we would go to Crunch because we were going to try out for CERT? We made it like 2-3 workouts and we're like,
I ain't doing this.
Yeah, maybe next year.
No, that's me for my whole like fitness, like in just my whole fitness journey. That's how it was. Like after working at the call center and just, hey, I'm gonna start getting fit this year. And you know, fortunately, I was able to go through things in life that through my own marital things that allowed me to pull back and started showing up for myself. And now I'm like, stop putting off for things, and I'm worried about myself a lot. And my health was it was a big one.
Hey, from working at an airport, you know this. You got to take care of yourself first and then others.
Man.
You know what I mean? Got to put
Man,
that mask on first.
That's a hard life. Hey, that's true. That's a hard life
Right?
lesson. And I'm learning that now. And I'm grateful to learn it, and
I think the best gift that you can give your kids is to give them the 100% version of you.
yes.
Rather than giving them a 25% version. Like, fix you first and then just give that, that's the best gift you can give your kids, right? Being fully present for them and not just
partially. No, yeah. And that's why I've like the whole 7 days a week working. I'm down to 6 days now. And I'm able to work within, like, during the weekdays, Monday through Friday. I'm at home before they get home from school. Yeah. So it's not that I'm not working. I'm still working a lot, but I'm able to be present with them.
Right.
And one of my big things, too, with my kids, just because, I mean, you've seen the posts. You and your wife, not only are your kids physically you, the both of you, they're mentally, emotionally you. So everything that you go through, they're going to go through. And so me being present whenever they get home, so that way I can be there besides tonight because Maya Lavelle, I love y'all. I'm here. But you got to be able to set yourself up to help your kids to go through everything that you went through physically, mentally, emotionally. So everything that you thought about, think about, all those little things, they're going to go through. And that's why my big thing is, are you going to help them through it? Or are you just going to talk them through it? Or you're not going to be there at all. And my thing is now, even from a young age, the things that I didn't know, but I was going through, I'm teaching them how to do it. I'm teaching them not how to do it, but how to react to it if it does happen. One of the things that I always ask them when they get home from school is, what do you go to school to do? And their response is learn, because I've taught them that. You go to school to learn, and eventually that's going to roll over. When you get older, what do you go to work for? To work. What are you working for? Your family, so on forth. Just like right now, they're learning for their education. And that right there for me, it's big, because I'm hoping as they get older that they'll realize, as they go through things in school, I'm here to learn. Like, none of this stuff matters. I'm here for work. I'm here to work. None of this other stuff matters. And that way it'll take their eye. They won't take their eyes off of what they're there for. And I think, especially for my son, because that man, that kid, he's a challenge, and he's big on reading, writing, arithmetics, because he is just too smart. That man will, and I said it again. He can like get your frustration up like no other. Like, and it's his gift. But I understand it though. He's a kid. He's only 7. He wants to know why. And I like to answer, but I like to answer to get his mind, wondering, oh, snaps. So he doesn't have to ask me why. He tries to go figure it out himself,
Right.
And I think that's what, as parents, we should all start doing that. Just challenging your kids. Just as much as they challenge you, challenge them back. Because if they keep looking for answers in places that they don't need to be, then are you going to be there when they go through all the things that you went through, mentally, emotionally? Answer their stuff. Kids are us. We're them. And yeah, man, it's fun though. Being a parent is fun. It's always a challenge. It's always something new. It's always teaching opportunities, So, how are you with your kids?
I think one of the things that I struggle with my wife, and not my wife, but I always tell her, I'm like, I want our kids to have a good life, but I don't want them to have it too easy either, And like, it's like, how do you do that without giving them emotional trauma? You know what I mean? It's like
you got to redirect it.
It's just we got to make sure that they that they can think for themselves and that they're competent, right?
Yeah.
So we're not always solving their problems, like you're saying. Like, I want to make sure that if they have a question, that I'm like, okay, well, what are your 3 options that you think you can come up with? And now with those 3, what's the best option that you think? At least get them some critical thinking, right?
Yeah.
Even I started this thing where my kids would ask me for something like, hey, can I go to the store? It's just, they ask me something, I'll give me 3 reasons why you should do that. Like,
that's a good one. I'm gonna start using it.
Right? So I'm like, give me 3 reasons why. Just anything. Or they like, whatever they do, they ask me all the time, can we go get McDonald's? Or I'd say no to that right away. But they're like, I don't know, Chick-fil-A's across the street and that's grilled chicken. But yeah, I was just asking, give me 3 reasons. And then that needs to, like, at least now they're going to think, well, if they want to go do something, right? Like, oh, well, if we go to Roaring Springs and I'll get some exercise, we'll get some sun and we can have family time or something. Okay, cool. Like, at least you're thinking of these reasons, at least. And then maybe later in life, there'll be like a skill that they can pick up. If, maybe they're going to try and sell something, or they're going to try and ask for a promotion or something. They already have these ready to go because I've been training them their whole life of like, needing to have backup reasons for why. Because I was like, oh, I just want a raise. And I think that these are the reasons why that I deserve this raise or something. They're already prepped,
Yeah. No, that's good. I like that. One of the things too, I always ask, and I've asked them, what are something that you like about me? And I asked it just for me, and then something that you dislike, just so that way I get their perspective of me and how I can change it. Because, we always have to adapt. We don't want our kids growing up not liking us. We've all seen those people who, oh, I hate my mom, I hate my dad. Why? Mm-hmm. Well, she did, and I'm just like,
yeah.
No matter what, you still gotta be thankful for the parent, who they are, and everything else. But in my mind, I'm like, I want my kids to be able to come to me open, present, and just be able to just, hey, Dad, this shitty day, da 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 da. I don't mean to cuss, but, just so that way they know they have me, and it's just something I have. Like, I talk to my mom every day. I'm a mama's boy. I love my mom, and I want them to have that same openness where they're able to just come out and just, hey, Dad, blah, blah, word vomit. I'm like, I'm listening. Talk to me.
Right.
One thing I learned, too, I wrote it down. I seen this actually online. It was a lady, and she was talking to her son, and a lot of people are doing it, and it's just embedded into the kids' heads. I always ask my kids this now, too, and they got it down. I'm like, what is integrity? And it's doing the right thing even when no one's watching. What is accountability? Owning up to any decisions that you make or allow. Be a what? Leader, not a follower. Who's in control of your life? They always say me. I was like, if you're not in control, and they say you're out of control. As long as you try, you cannot fail. And then I make them repeat that today is going to be a good day no matter what. And I always tell them, make sure you say you love yourself. And that's one thing the last couple of weeks, we've been practicing. My son just has it down like this. And just so that way they know, like, I'm just trying to set that foundation for integrity, accountability, responsibility. And just because, man, I'm big on, I love them, but I can't say I love them and not do anything for them,
Yeah.
So I'm loving them now, and I want to love them later on in the future, no matter what. But I want to make sure that they love themselves in the future. So if that makes sense. But
yeah, dude.
Yeah, kids. Everyone's still learning, man. Even older people who don't even realize it, they're still learning about that old. Let's speak about that. That old thing I don't like. That old school mentality. You're gonna do this because of this. No answers ever given.
Right.
Because I said so. I'm learning. I don't like that.
I hate
anymore.
that.
I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah. I also think that we need to be examples for them too. Like, I always feel like a crappy parent when I'm like, you guys need to go clean your room, and I go walk to my room, like, yeah. But I do commend my kids, like, when they call me on my, because I've always told them, like, I don't want you to feel like you can't tell me when I'm doing something wrong. If you catch me doing something, like, and I want them to know I'm proud of them, because that took a lot of courage to come up to me and say, Dad, you hurt my feelings when you said this. And I, like,
funny thing,
gut punch,
My son got me on that one. I used to do spankings. I don't do them no more. And the reason why is because he told me, and, he was like, I remember when you spanked me this day, and I was like, you know what? And I was like, and again, we're just repeating everything that we were taught as a kid,
Yeah.
And, I asked him, I sat down, I actually had a serious conversation. He was only 6, but I had a serious conversation with him. And I was like, what would you like what would you like for your punishment? And I never heard a kid excited to say they want to get grounded. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, take my phone away. All this, like, he's like interested in it. And I'm like, okay. I mean, and again, it's new. Let's change. Let's try new things. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I'll ground you. Okay, I guess take your phone. So then it started to, I'm going to ground you. And he was just like, man, you're always grounding me for the little things. Why is it always this? I just did this wrong and you grounded me. And I'm just like, you wanted this. Like, I'm giving you what you wanted. And he's like, I know. And, but no, and that's just the important thing, you know, listening to your kids. But like you said, though, too, make sure that they're able to, you know, tell you when you're doing wrong. And I'm glad for my son. He was able to tell me when I was doing wrong because it's allowed me to just take a step back and revisit myself and revisit my parenting skill with him. Kid's too smart. He is just too smart.
Yeah, I just got back from a hunt in Utah like 2 weeks ago. Our kids are homeschooled. We just started that this year. And I told them they could go down to Utah with me and I'll let them hang out with my sister, their aunt, for the weekend. And then if you do like 2 extra days of homeschool, you know, we were planning on coming back on a Tuesday. I was like, you don't have to do schoolwork on Monday or Tuesday. So we go down to the hunt and I got one opening morning. I wasn't expecting that. We were supposed to be there till like Monday morning, and then we're going to come home Tuesday, right? Mm-hmm. But we got one early, and this deer still had velvet on its antlers, and those kind of decay quick. I was kind of worried about it, and then my dad and I went home the next day on Sunday, and I called my sister, and I was like, hey, let the girls know, like, we're probably going to go home tomorrow, so they need to get some stuff ready. I'm just trying to make arrangements and stuff. And she calls me back and she's like, your daughters are in absolute tears because you told them that if they did their extra school, they did, because, let's just say, because they feel like they did 2 extra days of school that you told them to do so they could stay. And they feel like they did that for nothing. And I was like, all right, let me talk to them. I was like, going to talk them out of it, right? I was like, you can't talk 2 little girls crying, your 2 little daughters crying to you. Like, Dad, you promised that if we did this extra work all week long, you know, that we could stay. And I was like thinking about that. I was like, what kind of example am I teaching my kids if I back it down on
promises are big
of what I told them I was going to do? So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll take responsibility for my actions. I'm going to make some calls, figure some stuff out. I'll find a freezer to put this head in for 2 days so it doesn't decay, right? Hunter's issues. But so I did. I called around, found some spots. I had my mom move everything out of her freezer so I could put this deer head in her freezer. And then ended up, it didn't fit there, so I ended up having to take it to another freezer. Like the guy that I dropped my meat off to, he said I could keep it in his walk-in freezer. So I was like, you know what, though? Those kids could have just been crying and say, okay, and they would have been mad at me. But they had the courage to like stick up to me and like it's not in a disrespectful way either. Like I don't condone disrespectful sticking up to me. And if they're just sticking up to me because they don't want to do it, that's different.
Yeah.
But they're calling me on my shit and I respect that. And at the end of the day, I need to still, you know, be a man of my word. If I'm going to make them do extra stuff and give them a reward, and then I make them do the extra stuff and don't give them the reward, then I'm teaching so much mistrust in those kids.
Yeah, eventually they won't go to you anymore.
Correct.
You know who you can and cannot go to, and they're like, yeah, I can't go to Dad anymore.
And then when I seen them, we went to like Fat Cats and did some stuff, and I was like, you know, girls, I really appreciate you guys calling me on it, and I apologize. I shouldn't have even considered going home early. That was my bad. Sometimes things will happen though, but this time you guys were right, and I appreciate you having the courage to tell me I was wrong.
Daddy got excited. He got ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that's good. Kids, man, they teach you lessons like you don't know. And, man, I'm thankful for mine, man. It's just, they're something else. They are something else, man. A piece of you always see like a piece of you come out of them, and you're just like, it's always like, what was that old saying? It's like, don't worry, it'll come back on you tenfold. But it's literally like what you're going through. Like when you hear that kid crying, like, don't worry, when you get older, your kids are going to come back and do the same thing to you.
Remember when your parents would be like, this spank is going to hurt me a lot more. It's going to hurt you. Like, bullshit, this thing hurt.
Find a switch for yourself. I'm like, all right.
I was like, I don't know. You look like you're smiling when you hit me.
Why are you talking while you doing it? No, it's lessons learned. And that's a funny thing, too, even as kids, you know, and that's why family is definitely important. Like, because even as I was a kid, you know, you learn through cousins. Like, you learn the trust issues, like who you can trust. I remember when I was younger, I had two cousins, my cousin Leandre and my cousin Chris. And me and my cousin, we were about the same age. Me and my cousin Cade, they were older, so they asked us, hey, walk around the neighborhood and find us some lawns to cut. We'll split the money with you. I don't think they were, but anywho, we walked down the neighborhood. We walked to the next neighborhood. It got dark, and finally we walked back. You hear them calling our name, Jaylon, Cade, where are you? And we're just kind of like, we're young walking back, and we got a whooping. we're like, they told us to go to house and look, and then they were like, we told you guys to stay over here. We're like, no, you didn't. Like, you told us. And we got a whooping, and I was just like, never again. I was like, that's where my trust issues started. I was like, never again. I ain't trusting y'all no more. But nah, it just taught us a life lesson, and like I said, everything's a lesson, and it was just funny. I still laugh at it to this day. But nah, it was. I got a whooping for somebody I didn't even want to do stuff for. They probably wouldn't even want to spend the money. I'm gonna go back now, and I'm like, hey, you owe me $10. But nah, it's fun. Life is fun. Life is an adventure, and yeah.
I think I've learned the last couple of years, like, man, there's so much stuff that I thought was gonna be the end of it. Like, right when I was going through it, like, this is the worst thing that happened to me, and then it takes you years to realize, like, that was a pivotal moment. You needed that moment, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that happened for a reason.
It did.
Once you start to understand that, and stuff starts going bad for you, or you're like, all right, I know there's a plan. Like, just let's ride this river out. I'm not gonna try and go upstream. Let's just ride this thing down the river, right?
No, I feel you on that. I always think of life as a video game. You're going the right direction whenever you're starting fighting the bad guys. Because if not, you're going the wrong way, So as life hits you, just remember like a video game. Like, man, I know in Mario, I'm doing right because now I got all the little question marks I can hit up. Boom, boom, boom. Here's Yoshi. That means you're going the right way. And yeah, I think of that as life. Hard points come in, whether it be good or bad. I mean, everything has to be a hard point, but as long as you see the direction you're going is the right direction, and just little things kind of come your way, you're going the right way.
Yeah, it's always a level up, and at every level up that you get to, there's going to be a new boss.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's yourself, and as I'm going through my own things in my life, too, and just a lot of things, too, that have, for myself and my marital things, and it used to be like, oh, yeah, it happens, things like that, but now it's taking a step back and taking time for myself to realize, why is this happening? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Why are we continue to be here? Or for each other, for ourselves. And even now, after I've been going through recent events, I've taken a step back to kind of look at my own life and realize that I'm a person. I love hard. So when I love hard, I'm very interested in you. And I want to know everything about you, which is, as I'm learning now, like, that's what love is. You want someone to know, why do you fart at 6 o'clock in the morning every day? Oh, because my body's telling me to poop. Why is it that every time something comes around, it's true. And that's just me. I want to know everything about you, but I've learned now to take that step back. I need to start learning about myself. And it's nice, and it's a beautiful thing, because as I'm learning more about myself, I'm learning that because I do love hard, that it threw off all my levels, my hormone levels, I forgot what's the other level that your hormone levels and it starts with a T. Testosterone. Everything got thrown off. But it was storing fat for me. And as I was doing that, the stress was coming on, even though it wasn't stress, but it was taking on stress. I started losing weight easily because I stopped, worrying about certain things, and I started worrying about myself. And weight's coming off of me easy now. Like, I started this year out at 290, and now I'm down to 243.
Dang, dude.
And it's like a pivotal moment in my life where I'm just kind of like, I'm on this fitness journey now where I'm doing things and I'm trying to motivate others as well to continue to do better for themselves. And I'm showing up for me, and it's nice. you know. But as I'm finding myself, you know, I'm finding my family like in everything that I do, and that's my thriving point, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not big on words. I grew up in the hood. I'm not
Yeah.
big on words, so you gotta get a dictionary out when it comes to the big words.
I think for me, one of the biggest things that has helped me get through my whole journey and showing up better for my wife and my kids is just taking ownership of everything. Like not pointing the finger, because wherever you point the blame finger is where you give control, you know? So
Yeah,
if I'm,
that's a big one. I like that.
yeah. It's like when I blame, you know, my boss or something because of something that happened at work, it's like you give him all control. Now I have no control. It's like, then I'm just playing the victim card, which is my ego. Right. And ego is such a big thing too. You just got to drop that ego. If, you know, if you're the victim in your life, your ego's at play. If you're the hero in your own life, it's your ego's at play, right? So you just got to like keep checking yourself too.
I like that. I like that. Hey, hold on 1 second. I wrote some food for thought on that one. Actually, I had this one written down. It's always write everything down too, because you never know.
Right.
It's food for thought. I think. Did you say this one too? I think you actually said this one. Becoming what you love requires doing what you hate.
It's good though. Wasn't me. But
Wasn't you? Like I heard that and I was just like, that's absolutely right. Because even if you think about it, even as kids, most kids are afraid of the dark, right? And later on in life, you realize you got to face that fear of the dark. So all those fears that you start to have, eventually they're going to come to light because you're letting them build character in your own thoughts until they come to life. And I think a lot of people do that instead of just kind of going with the flow of things, and they just create these things and just create problems for yourself. And that's exactly what I was doing. You know, I was living in this life of, I'm waiting for the bad to happen. So eventually the bad's going to happen,
Yeah.
And it's literally playing your own world. If you think about it so much, it's going to come to light,
Yeah. I think if you run from things, it's just going to make everything worse. You ever heard of the cow and the buffalo?
No.
My favorite story. It's like, so in life, cows will run from a storm. They'll run for miles and miles, and obviously the storm will still catch up with them. They'll have to endure the whole storm, rain, everything. But buffaloes, they'll run right into that bitch, and then they'll endure it, and it's over, right? So it's like you can run from your problems all your life.
Buffalo.
You can run from all your problems your life, or you can run right into them, and the storm's over.
I'm a buffalo. I run right into him.
Yeah.
Nah. And it may take some time, but no, like you said, I guess I'm a cow too. Because, even my whole weight loss journey, I just kept saying pushing it off. And eventually, it caught up to me. I'm like, you know what? I gotta buckle down. I gotta start eating right. And again, you were there for me, giving me just like a lot of advice, even just the eating. Because even now, like I eat and I'm just thinking macros. Because before I used to think that, I'm like, that shit's stupid. Like, who's calculating food? Who? Why? What's the point? Who cares? And then now that I'm looking at things, I'm looking at the protein, I'm looking at the carbs, I'm looking at the sugars, and I've started breaking it down. I'm like, you know what? This is actually a lot easier now than it was when I first started. But just doing it allowed me to, I lost 10 pounds in like 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, snaps, this is cool. This is cool. And even now as I hit that plateau, like I know I got to step it up. I'm big on water aerobics, just because it doesn't mess with my joints. And water aerobics I'm trying to do those 5Ks and things like that. But I'm going off topic again. I got ADHD.
Hey, I feel you, dude. I'm there with you. Like I said, I got that Alpha Brain to help me with my ADHD, but I forget to take it. So
you have to tape some on your forehead when you wake up.
Yeah,
but no, it's big in life. Fitness and caring for yourself and being there for yourself. That's big about me. Just everything I'm going through right now is being there for myself and finding in myself my family, friends, and things like that. And they're a big help along the way, and just helping them out. I'm big on helping friends out because why wouldn't I want to give the information that I learned to someone else? Storing that information is kind of selfish. Let them know what you know.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that keeps me in check is I think what I trade my mind, my body, and my habits right now with my kid in like a Freaky Friday situation, right? And they pick up everything I got. And if I find something in there that I wouldn't want them to have, I need to fix that shit because they're watching me.
Oh man.
They're
sponges, bro.
Yeah. And they'll watch you and they'll pick up on that. Even if they leave the house, like that's all they've known, right? You're a product of your environment. So
Oh man, these
give them.
man, and then, like you said too earlier, you were like, we want to give our kids the best childhood they've ever had without giving. I just got to bring this story because it's funny, and this is for me having that other job too. I work at the airport, and my son, man, he's a homebody, but he's a picky homebody. For instance, we always fly Delta. Delta's like, it's for America, it's nice. It's like one of the nicest airlines.
Yeah.
And one day we went to Baltimore, and we flew on Southwest. Man, I've never, and this is just me. My kid's been flying since he's 7 now, so he's been flying since he's been 1, and we've always flown Delta. And we went to Baltimore, but we have to fly on Southwest. And I've never seen a kid complain about an airline before. He's like, "Hey, I want to go home." He's like, "What is this? This isn't Delta. Where's the TVs at? And I was just like I was happy, but I was like, it's like a proud dad moment. I'm like, I'm glad you recognize the difference in airlines, but I'm like, how can you, like, we're going somewhere, like, how can you be picky about an airline? And I was just like, I think I spoiled them too much.
I made it very clear with my kids, and my wife has too, like, we're going to be working very hard for the next few years to set ourselves up in the future. So we have wealth and, we can go on nice vacations and have nice things, but don't mistake, this is our money. This isn't your money. You guys still need to work. Like we started getting our laundry done by a cleaning service because we were just super busy. It was like just here and there, not every week, but we would get our laundry picked up, my wife's, mine, and then the 2 younger kids. And I was like, but I told my older girls, I was like, you're still doing your own. Like, I still need you guys to have responsibilities.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right? You guys have they have their own dogs. Like, you better go pick up that dog poop. Do you want to keep those dogs? You better pick it up. My daughter just had to call yesterday to make an appointment for her dog to get a haircut. And I give her the phone, and I'm like, call him up.
That's good.
Ask him how much it is. Like, it's this little 8-year-old squeaky voice. I need to get my dog's haircut. And there's like, who was it? She's like, it's Rocky. like she's like expecting him to know, and then her phone died. And so she goes and grabs my wife's phone, and she calls back. She's like, sorry, my phone died. And the lady's like, who is this?
I think there's some kid like playing on the phone.
Yeah. And then it's just funny because like we're just giving them these responsibilities.
Exactly, teaching them responsibility young.
We want to treat our kids like they're 2 years older than they are.
Yeah.
So I want to just keep putting more and more responsibilities on them than other kids usually get. I feel like your kids are going to learn at the rate that you allow them to learn, right?
Yeah.
A lot of kids, I think, are just held back by their parents trying to give them such an easy life. And
that's a thing. That's very true.
What's that saying? It's like hard times make strong men make easy times make weak men make hard times, right? So,
was another story too about, my dad used to walk to work to get to work. Whenever I was born, he afforded me a car. I was able to drive to work. Now that my son is here, I'm able to afford him a Bentley. And when his son is born, he'll afford a Ferrari. And then whenever his son is born, he'll be walking to work. The cycle will continue.
Right.
So, no, I feel you on that. That's what you allow is what you allow, the growth. And then it's going to eventually start over. And that's just life coming to full circle. Just everything that we do. Look at just even the way everything around the world is going. It's just like full circle of everything because we're taking advantage of a lot of things that are given to us. Like even my kid, for example, Wi-Fi's out. I'm like, man, I remember.
They don't even have commercials.
Yeah. Like Netflix. You just go straight to the thing. Like, man, commercial break when you had to run and get what you had to get. Like, did it start? Like, no.
That's when you got your chores done.
Yeah.
Commercial break. And having to change the TV channel on the TV.
Yeah. I don't remember that. Pimp My Ride. I remember I used to change it back between Pimp My Ride and I think I was watching cartoons at the time with my grandma.
That recall button saved you at night.
Yeah. What are you in there watching? Scooby Doo. It's Adult Swim. No, it ain't.
Yeah.
But it's fun. The world and the way it evolves, and just the way things are just repeating itself. It's weird, and it's life, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing we're working on right now with the whole homeschool thing is just teaching our kids about nutrition. And I'm even trying to start teaching them about macros and like looking at this. Like
That's a good idea.
They were just eating Cheeto Puffs the other day, and I was like, you guys know what's in that? Like, first off, I don't know where you got those. And my wife's like, I got it for them. I was like, so I took one out to the barbecue and I lit that bitch on fire. And I was like, do you see how long this thing's burning? Like, it went on for a good minute, just like a small flame. And I was like, you guys are putting that in your body.
I'm learning that too.
And then, because I was told my wife, I was like, here's I don't know, maybe some people don't think it's wrong, but childhood obesity is like the parents' fault.
It is.
They can't go buy their own food.
100%.
So I'm like, it's up to us to, make sure that they have what they need. And I don't care if they're snacking all day. We just can't keep crappy foods in the house then.
Yeah.
If I only keep good foods in the house and they're just snacking on celery sticks and peanut butter or whatever and, apples and whatever they want, that's cool. It's better than them just snacking on chips all day that has nothing to them, right?
That's me.
Yeah, dude, me too. Like I'll just animal crackers. I'll mow down a whole 5-pound bucket of those. Right?
I ain't going that far. I'm talking about me just chips. Like I find like little. I'm bad about frozen food because air fryer, man. That's that simple. Like, I'm bad on that because I'll just throw some chicken strips in the air fryer. I'm like.
My son's autistic, and he just eats only certain foods. He'll go into the freezer and just get frozen. He'll just get frozen French toast sticks because that's all he eats is like French toast sticks, dude. He'll just mow down on those.
While they're frozen?
Yeah.
That's funny that my son is. He hasn't been diagnosed with autism. He hasn't been diagnosed with that tism yet, but I mean you can tell. Yeah. But he's big about McDonald's. That's his go-to. And very picky, same thing on foods. He'll only eat certain foods. Like you can't get this kid like to eat anything else.
Yeah.
And and that's one of my challenges I make for myself. Like I'll make spaghetti. He hates it because obviously he doesn't like things on his hand. He doesn't like getting messy.
Right.
And so he won't eat that. But I'm like, hey, this is just hamburger. But instead of the bread, it's just pasta, which is bread from the just trying to mess with his brain a little bit. And then I'll try to like, hey, you eat all this, you'll get this. Nah, I can't. And I'm just like,
my son eats blueberries, a lot of them, and he'll eat French toast sticks, honey bunches of oats, peanut butter and jelly, watermelon. That's about it.
That's what he eats every day for lunch, peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
I got him into Nutella a little bit just to kind of get like something different because I'm like, all you do is eat peanut butter and every day, peanut butter and jelly. I'm just like, man. And he loves it. And I'm like, how can you eat peanut butter and jelly every day? And I'm over here like gnawing on this stuff. Like, hey, it's ready. And I take half a bite.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's man, those are the special kids in our life, bro. Like no other. That's why I said my son, he's just so smart. And he like even in first grade, dude's learning multiplication. And I'm just like on his own. Like it wasn't even nothing like taught at school, and like even now as he's having like little behaviors at school, it's just because he's bored, because he knows everything. Like he doesn't do anything, goes out of the class, does all this stuff, but then his test grades coming back, it's like all 90s. I'm just like, dude,
right?
Like apply yourself. But at the same time, that's that patience we gotta learn ourselves, man. You gotta his rate that he's going is his rate,
Yeah.
And that's just me learning patience because I want him to like just skip up this grade. You can do it. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
Learn at your own rate. I'll be there with you no matter what. So,
yeah, I think that kids give us our own set of problems to deal with for a reason. Like, like I was so scared when I found out my son was autistic. Like,
I feel you.
I'm like not I mean, you've known me. I'm not really a patient person.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like
me neither.
high strung, and then I'm dealing with my son, and I didn't want to have any more kids after that. That was our third kid, and I was like, I don't want to have any more kids because I was scared me, and I was like, I don't know if I want to have if I have another one, like whoa, you know, like that's nuts. And I lost that battle, but
No, it's no.
but I think it was a good thing.
It is.
Like my son was a level up. It made me more patient. It made me, you know, try and see things from a different perspective than just so black and white, and like really have to calm myself down, because traditional spankings and stuff don't work on like those neural pathway kids. I don't know what they call it, something, but and then even just like, I don't know, when I did spank him, man, I felt bad because I was like, he doesn't understand why I'm spanking him, and then I felt like a dick.
Yeah.
And then so now I need to like think about different ways on how to like get him to understand, because he doesn't understand regular stuff, right? So I got to get down to his level, like make sure we have some eye contact and like have some kind of understanding of this isn't okay, and then he goes does the same thing again. Like, that didn't work. So I just have to keep working on it, and I think it's been really good for me though, and I appreciate that, you know, God gave him in my life, and
he's there to teach you patience.
Oh, for sure, 100%. And then
my son's the same way, bro.
You know, I didn't want to have any more kids. It was kind of too, because I was like, oh, I only have 3 kids. More kids I have, you know, I have to split all my money between them, and then I feel like. Not like in a selfish way, but I feel like each kid's going to get less and less the more kids I have. But then I had to switch that mindset. Like, you can just go make more money, or you don't have to stick to just doing one thing. And then that's when I started doing, it was like early 2022. I told Ashley, I was like, I don't really want to promote within the prison. That's not really my game. I've never put in for a promotion in the 10 years I've been there. And I was like, but I want to make more money. I just don't want to promote. And so then I started looking into all this stuff, and I started just buying stuff and selling it on eBay, you know?
Oh, yeah, I remember golf clubs. I remember you doing that. You still kind of do it, right?
No, I'm getting out of it, because I was chasing too many things, and like you're just splitting yourself. You have too many
in you.
Dude, for sure. Yeah, I was doing the working at the prison full time, and then I'd be doing the golf clubs, and then I'd be.
Oh, you worked at the golf course too. I remember one year you did that.
Yeah, that was back in like 2016, 2017. I was working at a country club. That's when I was on graveyards.
Yeah.
Because I'd work graveyard all night, and then I'd get off at 6:30 in the morning, and I'd go work at the country club at 7. I work from 7 till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then I'd go to bed, and then I'd be back up at like 8 o'clock, go back, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I would go to work at the prison, and then I'd go work at the country club till like 2 o'clock, and then people would hit me up, be like, hey, you want to go golfing this afternoon? And I'm like, yeah, all right. So then I'd go like from the golf course, go golfing, and then I'd get done with work, or get done with that like around 7 o'clock, and it's time to eat and go back to work. Then I'd go back to work, and then I'd be driving home and hallucinating because I'm so sleep deprived. It's like 30-something hours without sleep at that point. And that was crazy times. But yeah, that's when I was just, I don't know, man.
You just trying to get it.
And then I quit the golf course, and then I just was doing, that's back when we were on the 5.8s. Then I was doing 5.12s. I was the only person that was doing that. That was like coming in early every day. Remember we were making breakfast and stuff?
That was actually, even, I think now I look back at it, even what we make now, I think back then when I was doing 5.12s, I made more money than I made now, which is weird. Because I only made like $15 an hour, or 6, whatever it was, but I made more money, and I've doubled that in my salary. But I still made more at $15 an hour working those 16s, and I was like, it's crazy, because I was the same way too, and in my little ADHD brain too, where I'm trying to do all these hustles. Like even now, I already got the 2 jobs, but I'm like, hey, what if I did online classes for real estate, and I can sell real estate on the side, you know? So it's always just, you know, what can I do to make more? But now I'm learning that my big investment is definitely my kids, and that's why I've been like stepping back, and I've learned to give my kids, and this is something that I think a lot of people should learn to do, is give your kids every love language that you have, because a lot of people forget to do it. And for me, mine is you know, physical touch, and I can't even think of my other love language.
Gifts.
Not gifts, acts of service.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm barely started learning about love languages.
Yeah, no, it's big, but you should give that to your kids. And so I always give my kids a hug. I'm a big hugger, and I always give them a hug. 6 seconds of a hug, you know, that'll help decrease a lot of things, especially with your son. That's why I make sure I hug my son, just hold him tight.
Yeah.
And acts of service. I love doing things for my kids, and it's just one of my love languages. My love language, acts of service. It just gives me it gives me so much just joy inside that I'm able to fulfill. I mean, I don't even care what I'm giving them, a soda, and they're just like, "Thanks, Dad."
Yeah.
As they have their headphones on their tablet, I'm like, I just did something. It's just this weird thing that I've learned just kind of going through my self-healing journey. And I think everyone should do that. Give your kids your love language. Communicate with them. Give them your love language because they'll appreciate it more. And definitely look for love language, though. It's big.
Yeah. Yeah, I always make sure that I try and tell my kids, like, how proud I am of them. I think that was one thing I remember as a kid, like, when my dad would tell me that he was proud of me, even though all the stuff that we went through.
Yeah.
Like, and I would hear that he was proud of me. Like, I remember that. Those would stick with me more than anything else. So I know how that made me feel. So I try and make sure to tell my kids every night, like, how I'm proud of them. And, when they ever have accomplishment, I don't want to tell them that I'm proud that they did that accomplishment, as in, like say a sports thing or whatever, like, good, you guys took first place. Like, I want to make sure that they know that I care about their effort rather than the result.
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to get the result, but you can always give your best effort.
I'm bad at that. I'm learning that too. Like we ran a 5K last week before, but I was ready for it because I've been losing weight. I've been preparing. I'm like, I was gonna run with my son. Last season he got 33 minutes on his 5K, and I'm like, I'm in the mindset. I'm like, yeah, we got this. And it was very selfish of me because I'm like, dude, I'm trying to beat your time, And he just wasn't having it. He was just kind of like, I'm done. And I'm just like, come on, man, keep pushing. And it sucked trying to push him because I know the push that he needs, but you got all these other parents around him like, it's okay, buddy, walk with us. I'm just like, this is
losers.
Yeah. And also I'm like, stop it. I'm like, look, I'll meet you at the end. And then again, these other parents like, we're walking. And I'm like, I'm trying to breed a winner here. Like, let's, But
there is that fine line between having fun and then giving them still that winner's mentality.
Yeah.
You don't want to raise a quitter.
Yeah.
And it's fine if you don't want to do it again, but let's give it your full effort this time.
And that's why I'm thankful for Renee too, even as we finished the finish line, whatever. And she's just like, you finished still,
Yeah.
And then it rewired my brain. I'm like, yeah, we finished as a team, just kind of giving that, that team mentality. Everyone else, you got to be thankful for everyone else too. So-and-so came over here to say hi to you. Congratulations and so much. So
yeah.
That's why I'm thankful for Renee and everything that she's done. She's like my perfect partner when it comes to just life. She's always been there for me.
I think having a good partner is a big key to success.
It is, and definitely learn how to shut up because I don't know how to shut up. I start talking and just go on and on and on and on, and there's just certain things you just stop at. So.
Yeah, I have definitely put my foot in my mouth a bunch of times. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really bad when I was drinking. When I would be drunk, dude, I'd say some messed up stuff. I remember this one time. Well, I might regret telling this. But. So I dated my wife's friend, like the very first girl I ever dated. And it was like a middle school dating, so it was like a week. Like we probably never even touched, like hugged or nothing. It was just like, wait, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right? You guys are hunching behind the bleachers. We seen you.
Yeah. It was like, but it was like I don't even know what it was, but nothing. But a week.
It was your wife's cousin though?
No, it was my wife's friend.
Friend, okay.
So I was like back in 8th grade, and then fast forward like 4 or 5 years ago, where my wife's watching her daughter while she's at work, right? Because they were still friends and stuff. So I was just really drunk one night when she came to pick her up, and I was like, hey, just think, if you would have played the cards right, that would have been my kid. Oh, bless my wife's heart. She just laughed it off and whatever. But gosh, I think about that and I'm like, oh my gosh.
What the heck was I thinking? Man, speaking of drinking, man, I've December, 3 years, man.
Really?
Drinking. Yeah.
What made you want to quit?
Well, me and my wife were on a journey, and through it all, we have a lot of stuff under alcohol that just kind of yeah, alcohol was no good in our relationship. And yeah, finally, I've been ready to quit the alcohol for a while. And yeah, we finally stopped December 2021. Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah. And so now it's just, it gives you like a new perspective on life whenever, I mean, you used to hang out with certain people and that's all you did was drink. So I've lost some friends because, I'm like, I'll hang out with you. But all they did was drink. And I'm just like, I don't
I
drink.
feel you there.
And I would still hang out with them, but I would drink water
Yeah.
or tea or something like that. And then and eventually stop asking me. I'm just like, I'm still a fun time without the alcohol. I'm like,
right. I was the exact same way. You can go back to the first episode. I said that too, but yeah, I used to have a different perspective. I was like kind of upset, like, yeah, like I'm a cool dude still, like I can hang out with you, and but then I looked at it differently, and I was like kind of appreciative that they aren't asking me because that's just an awkward conversation I don't have to have anymore.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're gonna go out to the bars. You want to go? I'm like, nah, man, I don't drink. Now they just don't ask me anymore, and I was like, what? And now I'm like, oh well, that's actually
taking time for
it
yourself.
takes away a weird conversation. So you just shift that mindset, and then it's not something that I need anyway. And if that was the only reason why we're hanging out, then grass and trees start at the same place doesn't mean you got to hang together, right?
Yeah. I mean, eventually you come back around. It's like you see each other. It's like nothing's changed. You just start talking, shooting shit, and yeah, it's just the growth in people, man. Eventually you'll start figuring out all these little things that you just put in your body, man. It just makes you.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel so much better waking up. You don't have a hangover. You don't have just the mind fog. Just you're able to just get up and enjoy your day.
Yeah.
And one thing I always say is, I mean, I tell this to the inmates a lot because they struggle with their own addictions. Man, a long, boring day is better than any other day where you've missed out on it all day.
Yeah.
For instance, waking up and just your weekend's gone because you slept the whole day away. I'm like, remember that. And I mean, a boring day is better than any other day missed.
It's another thing I'm appreciative for the prisons is I've learned a lot from the inmates, man. Like, I had to sit back and think there's no reason that they can't get in trouble and ruin their life over alcohol, and I can't. Like, I've done a lot of stupid shit while drinking.
Yeah.
Not just said stuff, but I've done stupid shit, and it could have got me in trouble or killed or whatever, and I've lost my whole family over one night of selfish, it's only doing it for me.
Well, and it still can happen because there's still people out there drunk driving, doing everything now. And I mean, you see it every day where people are crashing, especially on the weekends. I think it's subconsciously, I think I don't go out a lot on the weekends just because I don't want to be the result of someone else's actions.
Nothing good happens after 8:00. I go to bed at 8:30.
That's when I put the kids to bed. I go to bed around that time too.
Yeah.
I got that old man mentality.
Yeah, I still got some buddies that are like, you want to go karaoke tonight? I was like, maybe. What time you guys going? Like 9:30. I'm like, I've been in bed for an hour then, dude.
I went to so I've been doing this thing with my relationship now where we've reintroduced dating each other again. Just to kind of, I mean, I feel like everybody has to do that. You got to redate because you get comfortable.
Yeah.
But we started our little date nights again, and the other night, we put the blow up mattress up so we can go in the living room with a nice TV, and started the movie. And then the week before, hey, we got tickets to $5 movie day. We went to the later movie. Man, I don't remember that movie at all because I was sleeping in the chair the whole time, and I'm just like, man, I was like, luckily it was only $5, but I'm just like, we ate popcorn and just passed out. But it's like that. I mean, at least we're together, you're doing it. At least attempted the day night, but
yeah.
No, I feel you though. That bedtime is crucial when you get older. I'm like, I need 10 hours of sleep now. I can't run off of 4 hours anymore.
I remember one night we got babysitters for the kids, and I had to call my buddy, and I was like, what do you do? Like, I didn't know what we should do. Like, we're just twiddling our thumbs literally in a parking lot. Like, which way we going? We're, down by the village or something. We're like, I don't know. So we called him, and he just happened to be over at, like, Big Al's and was bowling. Or not Big Al, whatever, yeah. But we went and joined him bowling, but it was weird. We didn't know what to do. We're like, our kids.
With our kids.
Yeah.
No, it's weird how and again, enjoy your kids, but how you make them your identity. Yeah. And then you got to figure out how to, as a couple, how do you pull away from them and enjoy yourselves together again? And I'm thankful for that too, because, as my daughter is getting older and we're able to like, and my mother-in-law, she's amazing. Anytime we're like, hey, can you watch the kids? She's always like, she's for it. And we're able to just ride. I'm a big rider. I like to just ride, but me and Renee, we communicate a lot over music. So we're able to just ride for hours and just listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that we're alone. We don't have to worry about, the music's too loud in the back, things like that. And just able to just go for hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, music is one of our big connections that we just vibe on just for hours on end, just listen to music and ride. But no, dating, as we've been married for 12 years it's weird. It's fun. It's weird. And you get like excited again. It's like, even thinking about it now, I'm like, where are we going to go next week?
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's just like, I don't know. You feel like young kids again. We were teenagers when we got together. So it's just like, I'm going to poke the bear a little bit,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And even like the build up to it, I just like to like just make like little messages to each other. Just, redating each other. It's fun. You gotta go through some down times to get back up, but it's fun. And
Yeah, love's a verb. It's an action.
yes, it is. Man, actually, speaking of that, man, I got one of the things that people talk about love, like, are you in love? But like how, And I like writing poems, but in my poem, I ain't gonna read the whole poem, but I'll give you the gist of it. It said, all right, I'm a big poem guy. I like haikus and all that stuff. A, B, B, C, C, B, B. There's a whole bunch of poem stuff. Anywho, in the end, as I'm rhyming, doing all my stuff in the poems, whatever. And I was like, who the fuck said you need love to last an eternity? There's patience, understanding, finding where things went wrong, tenderness, openness, and staying strong. Too many things for the list goes on. Time heals everything when you hold on strong. And it just kind of just like what you said, like love is just a verb. Where's your openness to your person? Where's the time that you took, the tenderness? Where's your empathy, your sympathy? And it goes into so many things of what love actually is. Love is just the highlight. Love is just the store. Go inside and explore everything else into it, Where are you at whenever I'm at my lowest? I need you to be at your highest so you can pick me back up. Be my strong arm when I'm at my weakest point, And everyone's going to experience it, and that's love. That's you showing up for your partner, you choosing to show up for your partner. And yeah, I've hit that point too where, you got to show up for each other. And that's where we're just kind of reevaluating, dating, and just doing the fun little stuff. And it's just that high point of the love, bringing it back up, I guess you could say. But no, that's fun.
Yeah, my wife and I try and have this 2-2-2 rule where every 2 weeks we go on a date, and every 2 months we do like one overnight, and then every 2 years we'll do like our own vacation. Sometimes we skip out on those dates and it hurts, but
You can't do it.
you can't do it. You got to prioritize that. And I think I think that's something that we messed up on was we were prioritizing the kids, but we need to prioritize our relationship first before the kids, which sounds selfish, but for like we were talking about earlier, like we need to make ourselves best for our kids. We need to be a strong, happy marriage for our kids.
Yep.
Because that's what they're going to be looking for in a spouse. And I have to keep thinking that for myself. Like the way that I treat my wife is what my kids are going to look for or my daughters are going to look for in a husband.
Let me break it down to you a little bit more. I'm going to dive deep into you. One thing that I've just kind of on my own healing journey and everything, one thing that I found out too, and I mean, I could be wrong, but a lot of times, and you'll notice this too, a lot of times the love that your daughter seeks is the love that you give her. The love that your son seeks is the love that your wife gives him. Because no matter what in life, you got to remember, you're always going to be your daughter's first love. And your son, your wife will always be his first love. So the love that you give them is the love that they're going to look for. And as long as you're and that's why I go back to give your kids your love languages. As long as they receive those and you're there for them mentally, physically, emotionally, man, I'm about to tear up talking about that because, man,
Yeah.
It'll allow them to actually look for those things in life, man. And I'm a big spiritual person, And I always try to like just like when I do things for them, I'm like talking from my soul to their soul, like and that's why I have like on my physical touch when I hug my wife and my kids, I do it for 6 seconds because I don't want to sound like it's just like to me it's just like our souls actually that's me talking to your soul at that point. It's me getting to you, like deep into you, and yeah, you definitely you gotta get everything that you can for your kids if you want to set them up because you will be what they look for in the next man that they have, and that's another thing too. I want to make sure that whenever my daughter comes around these guys who, when she gets older, and she comes around these guys or whatever she does, I don't care. But if they don't meet my standard of what she's looking for, she's like, I don't want that. So I got to make sure that I'm always there for her. Let's go on these little things. Let's do these little things. And that's why I'm excited when I give her those little things, my acts of service for her with my love language. I'm able to give her hugs. When she's crying, I'm able to just, even though you're crying, I'm still here for you. And yeah, I think everybody should think about that too. The love that you give your kids will be the love that they look for, especially if father, son, daughter, or father, daughter, son, mother. And you're literally setting them up for the love that you're going to look for. It hits a lot deep when you think about it. But if you think about your own parents, things like that, and the love that they give you, and if they didn't give you love, are you able to receive love? Are you able to give love? And yeah, I've been doing a lot of soul searching with my stuff, and I'm definitely in it for my kids. That's my big investment, and yeah.
Yeah, man, I think it's a great journey. Obviously, I've learned just a lot just listening to you. So.
That's what I said, man. You got to stop me sometimes.
No, dude,
I'm ADHD too. I'll go on forever.
I feel like I struggle with empathy.
Yeah.
I feel like I struggle with empathy more with my wife than I do with my kids.
No,
but
it's because you have a different standard for your wife, and I'm the same way too. I'll take it into an example that I had too, and I'm learning to bring things down too. Because me and my wife we both work at the airport part time, just so we can that togetherness, And I've learned to treat her like she is a new employee. So when I'm teaching her things, instead of having that my mentality, oh, you should already know this,
Yeah.
I'm learning to like, hey, I'm liking it. I'm like I was teaching her the other week on a plane I forgot what we were doing, draining a plane, the water. And, and I was just showing her, making sure she could see it. But I was just like in my head, I'm just like, oh, damn, girl, you're cute doing this. Like, and it's just me stepping back instead of me having that my mentality before. Like, You've done this before. Why don't you? And she hasn't, And I mean, I don't know, it's big on that, man. It's just.
I think that little thing you touched on of just detaching from the situation is huge too.
Yeah, it is.
Like, because a lot of times you can get too close to the situation, even if it's like a bad thing, right? Like, like an angry thing, like you want to lash out towards your wife or you want to lash out towards your kids. You got to detach from that situation and realize that, like, when I'm 80 years old, I'm going to think back to this moment and wish that I could have done this completely different.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, I'll never get this moment back, and just detaching from that and realizing that there's a lot bigger things at stake.
That's like you said too. You never get this moment again, and that's why I'm trying to take everything like it's my last. No one's promised tomorrow, so I want to make sure today is the best day that I can have, so that way tomorrow I can make it even a better day. And I think a lot of people forget. They forget that my mentality. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. Make today your best day, and that's why for me, I love to show gratitude towards everyone that I encounter because you never know. You never know what someone's going through. You never know. I always make sure I say hi to everyone, and that's just from my childhood. You never walk into a room, especially if it's not your house, and say hi to everyone, You always want to say hello. Whether you're passing or not, you open the door, have a good day, make sure, just the little things. And it can make someone's day. I mean, you hear about it, especially now with, like, little kids going through all this stuff, the cyberbullying, things like that, but you never know. I'm going to take another story. My ADHD just pop it out. So, and this is the one that I taught to the inmates, and just, all the gang ones always doing everything. And I told them this, and just because I like to mess with their minds just so that way you can think about it. Because I'm like, the way you step out and your approach, someone else is looking at that, And my one example was like everyone's gonna struggle as a kid, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, but you never know someone else's kid. So my example to them was this. I was like, let's say you're at Walmart, you got all your bling and everything else on, you're just swagged out, da 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 da. And there's a kid who's just at home getting just beat, obviously not looking forward to anything at home, but he sees you, right? He sees you all swagged out, da da da. I was like, what would you tell that kid if he's like, hey, mister, how'd you get all that? And then it was just like, I don't know, hustling. I was like, why would you tell a kid that who sees you as possibly like someone they look up to because they seen you out here and you're that hope that they have for the future, and you say hustling. I was like, why can't you break it down to the kid and be like, you know what, I've worked very hard for what I got, and go into detail actually. It's not just hustling. Like you got to learn how to like play with people's mind a little bit, but give them hope for the right thing. And for them, they were just kind of like, I never thought of it like that. And I was like, yeah, you got to remember, even at your worst, when you're out there, someone's looking up to you. And yeah, it was just kind of messing with their old mind. They're like, why is Perry always doing this to us? And I'm just like, man, I got to keep you thinking. I got to keep you on your toes. I was like, you guys always think about the bad things. I was like, you got to keep doing the good things for yourself, because you never know the intentions of someone else who's coming up to you asking the questions, because their intention could be to live your lifestyle and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
To get out of their own. So it's the world we live in, man.
Yeah.
You never know.
Man, the mind's a crazy thing. You just touched on how you just go to the negative, right? I think that's so much too of just, in the entrepreneurial journey, trying to do other things, and your mind just goes to the worst case scenario right away. Everything, right?
Oh yeah.
You want to do like literally the worst, like I'm gonna be living under a bridge, but you would back it up. He's like, no, I won't be living under a bridge,
No.
But it's crazy just how quick our minds always go to safety first, and it's like the negatives, and it's never the positives. It's so easy for you to depict a picture in your mind of what's the worst thing to happen. But if you get asked to make the best case scenario, you really have to think about like how you would do that. And you have to take and make effort going into making a positive thing in your head. It's just crazy how our minds work to go straight to the negative all the time.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun though. It's fun to work with your own mind. And I'm going to say it 1,000 times, through my own self-healing journey, I've learned to just kind of deplete my mind and just kind of mess with my own wordplay in my head about things and how it goes, and just find myself, man. Like I said, man, I never knew how much I liked poems until as I've done my self-reflecting, and when I used to think about certain things, as I find myself, as I would constantly just think about my wife and kids. Instead of doing that, like when I'm at work, and it's obviously occupying my time at work, and you think about those things, I learned to write poems. So if I thought about them, I'm writing a poem real quick, because that thought is now being fulfilled through this poem, and it allowed me to work more. So now I'm able to focus on work. I'm able to focus on work and get my stuff that I need done. I'm getting my steps in while still doing this, and the mind is a crazy thing, man.
Yeah, dude. I think it's good that you're constantly challenging your mind, though,
You got to.
Like looking for that next level up in your own mind. Because once you hit that next level up, now that's your baseline. You know what I mean?
I don't think of like, dang. No, you're right. Where does this go from here?
Yeah.
Where do we pick up and, place the next steps, the bricks, and keep
I think
going.
the big thing, too, is surrounding yourself with people that are better than you. I'd never want to be the smartest person in the room, man.
No, that's for
sure.
You know
what I mean? I want to be always the one that's asking the questions and being the most interested person in the room, not the most interesting person in the room.
It's funny that you say that too, because that's even our career that we took, the path, and I like to, as I made my way to where I'm at now, I asked the people who are getting ready to retire, what's the best decision you made since you retired? What's the worst thing that happened? And then they break it down, I wish I would have started this 457 then. My 401k wasn't here. And I'm like, okay, what's your return on this, And they kind of broke it down to me. I'm like, okay, so I need to roll this into the 457, and I'm like, okay. And yeah, as you get around those people who are just at that stage where you want to be at, it allows you to get answers to where you want to be at. whenever you reach their age.
Yeah, I think another one I heard was, obviously they have that saying of you're the median of the 5 people you hang around, but you can also up that one step of your income's going to be the median of the 5 people you hang around, right? So
Oh, I didn't think about
you
that.
hang around millionaires, they're going to start teaching you different ways of investing, or what you need to, a different mindset of thinking. My neighbor, she's just like opens my mind all the time of all these different things, but I just, even little things, like I told her, like, we're going on vacation next week or something, right? And she's like, well, Matt, let me tell you, the wealthy don't go on vacations. We go on business trips.
Write it all off.
Everything's a tax write-off.
Yep.
If you do a business trip, you can't write off a vacation.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like there's like a whole nother way of thinking and a whole nother world out there that I have no idea of.
Yeah.
Like someone, Alex Ramosi, I don't know if you ever watch his stuff, but he's got this special bit. He's like a business mentor, but he says, say you make $50,000 a year, you're paying life a stupid tax of $950,000 a year just by not knowing what it takes to make $1 million. Every year, that's what you're paying. I think about that and I'm like, wow, dude, like that's crazy.
That is.
It's just pushing yourself too to like find those people. But I think to find those people, you have to create the best version of yourself to attract them,
Oh yeah.
because their success is an attraction, is an energy, right? So you got to be making the best version of yourself. And now these people will be like, oh wow, like Perry, what you doing, man? You totally changed from
Yeah.
last time I seen you. And then it opens up different doors, and just putting yourself out there, man. I don't know. It's crazy though, because you won't find these people if you ain't looking for them.
Yeah. No, I'm big on energy though, because like it's my son. Actually, I'm gonna bring it back to my son, and this is my proud dad moment from him. And he asked me, Dad, what is energy? And I was like, I'm gonna ask you, what is energy? And, he broke down what energy was. Even at 7, I'm like, oh wow, he knows about energy. But also, I broke it down to him. Energy is time. Where you spend your time is your energy. So make sure you're putting your energy in good things. And then it just rolls into me telling him about, are you putting your energy into this. Whenever he's playing his games all the time, are you putting your energy in all these games? Why? And it comes back to me because, I've spent a lot of time working and everything else like that. And it's allowed other people to see me, where I've gotten offers from other, I don't want to go too much into it, but I got offers from certain things, and, I'm working on those things right now, and it's going to change my family's life and my life for the better. And I'm like, you know what, this is big. And it's just based off of someone, seeing me doing what I'm doing. And I'm able to, I started networking with these people, and they're just kind of like, oh my goodness, we really like your energy. We really like you. And I'm like, I like everything about this. And it's good. Everything that I'm just thinking about now, the outcomes of it, like it's good for myself and for my family. It's like, I can't beat this. And so when you say that, other people see it, like, and it's true. It's very true, just from every perspective you put.
Yeah, I think just looking at everything into having a positive mindset on everything, like you can look at the same situation and it can be either negative or positive. But when you can just be grateful for everything like you're talking about, and
Now that same situation thing, it goes back to, it was a story about the twin brothers. You ever hear the story about the twin brothers? So there's two brothers who grew up. Both parents were drunks. Eventually they grew up later on. They had 2 different career paths. One became a drunk. The other became very successful. And they were both interviewed. And the successful one was interviewed. He was interviewed, and he's like, what really triggered your success? Things like that. He's like, I watched my parents, and all they did was drink alcohol, and I wanted away from that life. They went to the drunk brother. What contributed to your drunkenness? He's like, well, I watched my parents, and this is what they did, so I took on that same lifestyle. And just the perspective, being positive about everything. You can either say, yeah, they've done this, I don't want to do that because I see what the road it leads down, or you can take that same road and, be the negative person that just drinks all day and gets nothing done. But look at the positive things of everything that you got to do, bad situations and all. Yeah, so and so happened, but make something good out of it. Turn that mess into a message.
Yeah, the world isn't as it is. The world is as you are. So,
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think that there's lessons in everything you can go through.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you wouldn't be the person you are today unless you didn't go through some of those things, right? So
it's true. And now you got to teach your kids about the things you went through, not putting them through it, but teaching them how you got through it. And I'm big on that. That's why I'm big on journaling now, real big on journaling. Just because at any point in time, technically you're journaling right now, you can go back and revisit the feelings and everything else that you felt. And that's why it's important to write down those mental things, emotional things. So that way, whenever you can flip back into time, like, this is where I felt during this time. How did I get through it? And just keep it pushing. And yeah, making the world as you, what do you say? Make the world.
The world is not as is.
Yeah.
The world is as you are.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's true though. Because one of my favorite sayings, people ask me, hey, how's your day going? I'm like, well, it's going pretty good. I woke up this morning, right? So, you're just grateful for those little things. Like, how can you have a bad day? There's people that didn't wake up.
Yeah. Mine is, I'm alive, I can't complain. And then they're like, well, you're dead, you can't complain either. I was like, exactly, so don't complain.
Yeah. And what's it going to get you?
Yeah, complaining gets you nowhere. What happens now? It's like those people who get offended. I'm offended. Well, what happens now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go tell, okay?
Yeah. Well, what's next for you, man?
Oh, man. My next thing is continuing working on myself, my relationship with my wife, my kids, my family. Man, and just continuing and being the best version of me that I can be, because a better me equals a better everything else around me. A better me is a better world. And I say that because I want everyone around me to do good. I want everyone around me, if you're in my circle, if you're not, man, like I said, I don't know what it is about me that people just, especially these old ladies here in Idaho, I don't know what's wrong with them. They keep, every time they're like, hey, this black man. Like even yesterday, when I was
beautiful chocolate man.
I was at Domino's and this lady just came up to me, and she, the workers were laughing because she kind of looked like she had like some mental things. But, I listened. And, you never know when someone needs an ear to listen, And so that's my big thing is if someone's willing to go out of their way, their comfort zone, whatever her comfort zone was, but just to kind of tell me about her day, listen to that person. And that's for everyone, man. Listen to listen. Don't listen to respond, because you never know who needs to let whatever out on their chest,
Got
and
2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
Man.
And I'm learning that with my kids too. And I'm teaching that too. Listen to listen. Don't listen to respond. And
I have to learn that one too with my wife. Like, we get in an argument or something, and I really just need to learn to
not have
listen.
The last word.
Yeah. And try and understand before trying to be understood.
Yes.
Right?
That's big.
Because otherwise I'm just waiting for my turn to send my jab or whatever, But otherwise, maybe she's got a really good point, and most of the time Ashley does have most of the good points. So
yeah.
And so I just break it down a little bit and try and listen to her. And otherwise, as my ego back in play, I just want to have that last word. So try and understand before trying to be understood. No. Even with bosses at work, dude, I'm like,
no, there's always a time and place.
No,
there's always a time and place, especially at work. There's always a time and place to say something.
Yeah.
And you just breaks down into the relationship. There's always a time and place to say something. Hold your tongue. Listen to listen. Stop listening to respond. And you'll actually get more than what you actually bargained for, because now you got something to think about. It gives you like, oh, snaps. Has she felt this way during the whole time? And I'm like, okay, well, let me stop leaving my shoes over here,
Right. And that's that whole back thing to taking ownership for your actions and be like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I did do that. And, because at the end of the day, that's all we can control.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, if you're not in control, you're out of control.
Gotcha. We'll have to start. Yeah. I'll have to start that with my kids. That's cool, man. What's your goals for 2025?
And be a better me. Because I'm a better me, man. My career is better. My life is better. I gotta put that first. Stop that. Better me is a better family, better career, better just everything around me. Just surrounding myself with better. That's all it is. Just be better than we were the day before. But I'm gonna make next year a better year than it was this year. So continue my fitness, my water aerobics, big on water aerobics. Yeah, and just kind of just family. My immediate family and my family back home in Oklahoma. You know, I'm trying to get them slowly up here. Just giving them the positive things, stepping out of the comfort zone. You know, a lot of things that I've seen in my life is you definitely got to move around, especially when, like, for me, my hometown is a lot of toxicity, and being able to move away from that just allowed me to be even better where I am today. Like I love going home to visit, but I'm just kind of like, you see the same people doing the same things. It's just like, you just got to move out, man. You got to move around, clown, as they say over there. And yeah, my 2025 it's not gonna be my best year, but it's gonna be my better year. So
I want to be your best year.
Because I still got years ahead. I'm planning for
best year today.
Hey, I'm planning for my best year when I retire and I'm able to just sit on the swing set, play with my grandkids, and not have to worry about anything. I got my wife on my arm. I'm on her arm. Fuck that. I'm on her arm because I like to cuddle and I like to be the little spoon, you know. And yeah, that's my best year. That's down the road.
You should start a podcast.
Man, I can't do that.
Why?
That's too much time. Why should I start a podcast?
You got plenty of great things to say.
Man, everyone does.
Well, I guess I'll just have you guest.
That's what I said. Hey, episodes. I told you we're gonna have episodes.
Yeah,
I'm always down to come back, and I'm learning new things, man. That's the thing.
We always had good talks on Graveyards, man.
I try to.
Like, there's nothing else to do. You just talk. I mean, I swear, if the prisons would allow it, they would have great podcasts in those pod controls, dude.
It's funny
They
thing
call
too.
pod controls for a reason, right? Podcast.
I was gonna start and I'm still thinking about it, and this is one of my goals too, and eventually I'll get there, because I want to talk to the at youth risk. My cousin
At risk youth.
What did I say?
At youth risk.
Yeah. At my cousin's funeral, he's only 15 when he passed away, but you know, I got up and spoke, and I don't even remember what I said, but it was just kind of coming out, and I was just like, and that's when the whole mess into a message started for me. And the Colorado Springs at-risk youth, the director, you know, and I feel bad. I mean, if you see this, I'll still come out and talk. He wanted me to talk to his at-risk youth kids, and I didn't, and I feel bad because. I mean, now that it took time, and everything happens for a reason, because now I'm able to, I learned a lot more. I think I'm able to reach them at a different point in their life now, because I've had time to grow for myself and learn new things. But even here, you know, I want to get out here in Nampa, and I want to talk to some of those kids, because some of them I work with their dads. You know, their dads are out there, life in prison, things like that. And even as I'm breaking it down to them, and I'm changing their mind. I'm just messing with their mind, and it's just getting them to think, that critical thinking. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You know, and I really want to talk to the youth, because I think I can just, as long as I hit one, you know, I'm able to change the mind mentality of the things that the direction that they're going. And one of the things I did for the guys, the adults out there, I hit them up with this. I was like, what happens when life gives you lemons? What's the first thing you do?
Make lemonade.
No. You think the person who planted the tree for the lemons to fall for you to have. Think about it. Are you still in those lemons? Are you thankful? Did someone give them to you? I was like, and it puts you in deep thought. And it's like, yeah, immediately you take the money and run, right? No, you be thankful for everything for the farmer who planted that tree, who waited, who watered, who everything else. Thank that person before you go make lemonade. And then go back and revisit and thank him again. And that really kind of messed with their minds. And they're just like, oh, Perry's on some stupid stuff. And I'm like, no, think about it. But the one out of that, when I said that to that group, one of them was just kind of like, I never thought of it like that. And I broke it down to him more. I was like, you always got to remember the intentions of what you do behind everything that you do is what makes it. And he was like, elaborate. I was like, all right, let me get you this. So I broke it down to him a little bit more. I was like, the state issued stuff that I give you, right? You got a homeboy over here, everything state issue we give him, he's over here drawing all this stuff on it, selling it, And I was like, do you see where the intention got messed up for it? He was like, no. I was like, my intention when I give you this state issue stuff that's free, I was like, you over here balling on the state budget. That's what I call it. But I was like, my intentions are that you're going to use these clothes to better yourself. Once you better yourself, you're able to buy your own shirts and make your own designs out of these shirts. I was like, that's the intention behind it. But you've turned my intention into something negative, and now you're doing something negative with the intention. So you're out of that, you're going to get what you give. So as you taking what's free, is given to you with the intentions of you doing something good, now you're making it bad. I was like, it's just going to come back to you. You get what you give, right? And I was like, you guys say that all the time in the street. You get what you give. And I don't know, it kind of blew his mind. And I was like, man, intentions are everything. What's your intentions behind what you're doing? And I don't know, I just like messing with him. I like playing with the mind a little bit just because I try to have good intentions on everything that I do.
I think those paradigm shifts you're giving them are great. Like, you have to look at things from a different perspective.
Yeah. And it's challenging to it. And I like whenever they ask, why'd you say that? Because that shows me that they're interested in it. And I'm like, let me break it down to you a little bit more. And then it just goes into just a whole bunch of other things, and then like them even talking about, I'll talk about the shoebox bank. Like, you can't have a shoebox bank out here, man. Cash ain't king anymore. It is, but that credit will get you everything that you need. And they're just like, what do you mean? I was like, man, if you do the credit right, your credit will work for itself and your money will work for itself. You'll have an endless amount of money off of credit. And they're just like, I just like mess with their mind. I started one of the courses out there for their debit cards, and they're very thankful for it. But it just kind of teaches them about investing. It's one of the Dave Ramsey's.
Yeah, financial peace.
Yep. So we do that. But I don't like some of the things that he has to offer when it comes to, we didn't come for money, so we got to use that credit in the right way, the intentions of using it in the right way instead of the wrong way. And if you
if you can understand the difference between assets and liabilities.
Correct. But if you start the credit off right, for instance, even with, even getting a house, you get that investment and you get the assets and you flip it. You keep it going. It's just learning, but we never learned that,
It's getting around those people that'll teach you, right?
Yeah.
It's getting in the room where you're the dumbest person in the room so they can teach you. Yeah. There's a guy that I like to follow, Dan Martell. You ever watch any of his stuff?
I haven't seen Dan.
So he's a multimillionaire now. He's got like tech companies and stuff, but he started off a rough childhood. His I think it was 17, went to prison, and then went to an adult prison. And anyway, but he goes to these children detention centers and whatever, pulls up in his McLarens and different things, lets them come out and sees, and he's like, hey man, like I was in the same facility that you guys are at, and like just showing them that there's a path out. And I think that that's something that I've been interested in too, like you're talking about, is just going to talk to these kids and showing them like, hey man, there is hope out there,
Yeah.
Like, but there's different ways, because I think when your uncle and your dad and everybody else, everybody's all out that complex, it's all you've known. You've been visiting your dad when you were a kid out in prison. Now you're in prison, your kid's visiting you. And, I've talked to being on transport and taking them to medical appointments or whatever, they'll break it down a little bit. They're bored. They want to talk to you too. So,
yeah,
but they're like, yeah, man, this is all I've ever known, and, some of them make it out, but a lot of them end up just doing the same thing that their family's doing. It's kind of sad, but, it's like, how do you get to those people?
I break them down with one of the things that I use is, what's your high in life? And for me, it's still traveling. I love traveling. Even if I just go ride down the road for 2 hours, love traveling. But I get a perspective of where they are, and I'm like, hey, what's your dream vacation? And if they say somewhere in the States, I'm just like, man, you got to think bigger than that. And I just kind of, like one of the guys I was talking to, I was like, what's your dream vacation, man? Florida. I was like, why Florida? I was like, out of the whole world, why Florida? I've never been out of Idaho and da-da-da-da. I'm just like, so your dream big is Florida. And I'm like, you know what? And this is where he was just kind of like, oh, snaps, this, and this. And because even for me, like, I wanted to travel, and I've been traveling. But when you hear, Florida that's just like, I was like, man, what's in Florida that makes you want to go to Florida? The beaches. And I was like, man, have you ever seen Europe's beaches? Like, what's in Europe? I'm like, man. I was like, the train rides, everything else that leads you to the beaches. I was like, you see all these people here with all this culture, because, we're just like a melting pot here. And I'm like, there's just people and just different adventures besides Florida. And I was like, even the plane ride you get to go on, it's just, I've never been on a plane before. And it just starts that deeper talk. And it's just, I don't know, that's where I was like, man, I've been talking to all these adults and everything else that they've pretty much aspired to travel to be, wherever you want to say it is. And I'm just like, I got to talk to their kids, because, that's where if they dream big on something else, that I can like start it young. Let's get these kids to where they need to be, and let's get these kids something to look forward to. And it's essentially what it is, instead of prison, and stop making them a statistic. Because, I mean, even like I told, like when I was speaking at my cousin's funeral, I was like, I'm still a statistic as well. I was like, I'm Black, single mom growing up. I was like, something can happen tomorrow, and I'm, hey, we got another one. And, that's just, I mean, even for all the kids out here, Hispanic, I mean, it doesn't matter what you are. We're still a statistic. But just something that you work hard to not to be on, be on that positive side. I've watched this guy grow from this to this. And yeah, I don't know. It gives me so much hope. And I'm like, I'm excited. Not even thinking about it. I'm like, I'm ready to go reach out to the Nampa Rec Center and everything else and just talk to them.
Yeah.
But that's next year, though. I'm still working on some things.
Well, here's the thing I'm just thinking about that you're doing there right now. It's like, even if you're not in person, dude, every kid's got their phone. Like, if you could get to them on TikTok or something.
See, that's the thing. And that's that time and energy. I'm like, I don't want to put the time. Even though I should. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
but
lie to you.
your exponential potential is like.
But the only thing holding me back is, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
You got a homie with a hookup.
maybe we'll see. Maybe we get some TikToks going. We can just talk about the little things and just. And I don't know. I would love to just start, that inspirational message to the kids. Like, you can be what you want to be. You don't got to follow in the footsteps of whatever dad, mom went to prison, whatever. You're your own person, like you said. The world you create is the world waiting for you. Yeah. And that's into that negative mind thinking, where even for me, where I've been creating this world where I'm waiting for the worst to happen, and it happens.
Yeah.
Let's start changing our mindset. Let's wait for the positive things to happen. Even though you're going through all this negativity in life, at the end, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Let's see you in that house 5 years from now. Let's see you, that apartment, whatever it is, away from all that stuff. Drop those people off. Drop the negativity off. Let's get you into positivity. So I
think such a good mindset shift is that, like, the things that we think make us disqualified to be able to help people, because, like, oh man, I used to be an alcoholic and all these, like, nobody wants to take advice from me, but that's the dude they're gonna want to take advice from. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah. And that's just the cool thing about meeting everybody is, like, on these podcasts, is you hear their stories and you're like, man, like, you came from nothing and you created this, and that's exactly what qualifies you to be able to help someone, man. Oh yeah. And it's like, well, that's why I think that's, like, for a kid to be able to reach out to you and be like, man, I like your story. Like, I can resonate with at least a couple portions of that. Yeah. How can I get help? You know what I mean?
I was a kid, we never had not hot water. Never had it, we had to boil our own hot water. I didn't have electricity, so you used the gas stove, Yeah. I remember one time I permed my hair and it was cold water. And that's all I had was cold water. So I was rinsing and stuff. I'm like, this is cold. I was like, but it got done. But yeah, I mean, there's things that we go through, but a lot of times things aren't heard because they're not asked, and that's why it's important to make sure that the young children, the youth, everything else, they're heard. Because, I mean, obviously in the direction that the world is going, they're the next to come up and continue this lifestyle that we have, this cycle of life. And yeah, you got to get to them while they're young. Show them that they're important. Tell them that they're important. Be there for them mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Someone's
big about
watching
the
this
spirit.
right. If someone's watching this right now and they want to reach out to you, what's a good way to get a hold of you?
What's your phone number? No, man, how do you get a hold of me? I'm like the shadow in the dark. Message this podcast, and then reach back out to me. I might come back out.
You got social media or what?
Man, do I? No, I ain't got no social media. I'm in the dark. Not yet. I'm working on it. If I should do it, let me know. If I get enough support, I could start something, And I mean, if it does help somebody, I'm down to start something just to keep it going. Come back out here and visiting with you if we got to do another second episode, third episode, just to keep the positivity going. I would like to help and just one kid. If I could just help one kid, I've helped multiple adults now, just even going through their own things. Talking with dudes who can't sleep because they're in there for murder, and I've helped calm their soul down, and they're thanking me, and if I can do that with a kid, and I don't know, I'm just big on the kids. When I used to do Shop with the Cop, it was just seeing the expressions of kids of just final excitement and hope. One of the kids I took out, as we're getting school stuff, he was just kind of like, "Hey, can I get this hard drive from my Xbox?" I'm like, "Dude, you got everything that you need. Like, you got pillows, blankets, we're good." And we're calculating everything, but it's just the excitement and everything. And I made sure he had his essential. He's like, "I got pillows, I got blankets, I got my socks, I got this." I'm like, "Let's get that hard drive. Let's do it." And yeah, if I can reach somebody out there on that level, and I might start a podcast or something.
I think you got a purpose, dude. Like, you got to think you went through a lot of stuff for a reason, right?
Yeah, you're right. Perry love the kids. Kids are the future, man. And
Perry's kids.
no, don't go that far. But no, if I could change a kid out there, though, man, just keep striving, thriving, do what you got to do. In your hardest moments, think about you. That's all right.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Hey.
I try.
Hey, man. I think that I definitely got to have you back on. I want to have like a round table with a few different people. Like I have enough stuff for 4 mics, so.
All right. I mean, I'm always down. I'm always down for it.
I think, getting a community together, reaching a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean?
Well, and like I said too, like next year, as I'm trying to reach out to all these at-risk youth, I would love to giving them hope too, just to see themselves possibly here and doing this. I mean, it's something that I'm definitely striving for. Like I said, if I can just better one person, it's filling my cup, man. As I'm bettering myself, making sure my kids are doing good, and shout out to my kids and Maya and Lavelle, just so that way they can hear their names. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes next year. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you. We've gone about 2 hours, so.
Oh, we have? Oh, shit. Oh my God. Are you doing too much? You're taking too much of my knowledge. I can't be giving all that out. I gotta hold some of it. No.
Yeah, save it for next time. We'll definitely have you back on.
All right. I appreciate it, bro.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out. Appreciate you, and it's always a good time.
Hey, all right. Make sure I get my good angles. I'm getting smaller now, so don't be sitting there looking at my titties. But
thanks for the diversity.
Hey, you're welcome, man. I had to get some. No, wait. Oh, you had a female on here, so no.
I've had a couple, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I am the darkness of the room, I guess. You're welcome. I'm glad you're in my presence. Nah, I'm messing with you. All right, man.
All right, dude. Thank you.